Hey everyone, it's Ivonne Emil Elizondo from Silver Moon Astrology and Silver Moon Counseling. We're all just about the silver moon, and we're here today because we are having a new moon in Virgo. But before I jump into this, I have to show you some really cool things that I was gifted. I was gifted, and then I gifted myself, of course, right? Because, we like to gift ourselves some stuff. I'm missing the Amazon guy here. He hasn't visited in a while. But first and foremost, my beautiful friend Lou, okay, Luis, Lou, but we call him Lulu. He gave me some really cool items and I wanted to share them with you. Look how cute this is. Isn't this awesome? I love it. It's my own little witch's broom. I know, isn't that cute? Okay, and then check this out. This is like the most cool. I hope the camera's picking that up, but check that out. Right? Isn't that cool? There are all these books and look how I love this. This is so witchy, potions and spells. And of course, there's a big old, spider. Yeah, I haven't showed that to Alex Sophia. She'll freak out. But this is so witchy. Lulu, thank you so much. I absolutely love these items. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And yes, yesterday I was wearing my Dale Earnhardt Jr. number 8. Okay, when he was number 8 in NASCAR. So thank you for that too. But yeah, so I just wanted to, of course, wait, let me just say this. Okay, I have to make a confession. Okay. So I dropped off Alex, Sophia, and her friends right now. They're going to go tubing. They're going to go do their own thing. And of course, Half Price Books was right around the corner from there. And I haven't been to that Half Price Books in a really long time. So I stopped by and I got myself another copy of this really awesome tarot deck. It is the Steampunk Art Nouveau. I don't know if that's it. Art Nouveau, okay, tarot deck. So I love it. This is not a paid, advertisement for Half Price Books, but man, they've got some really, really good, cool deals. So I got myself that, and then we are getting together with the girlies in the witchy group, the Silver Moon uh, gals group, witchy group. Yeah, there we go. Silver Moon Witchy Group. There we go. And we are going to have some fun today because we are going to work on some mudras. All right. Mudras, if you're not sure, if you're uncertain what they are, right? They're hand placements, kind of like Naruto. If you ever watch Naruto, right? They do all of these hand placements. Okay. And these hand placements are helpful to move energy through the body. And anyhow, so that's not what this video is about. Maybe I'll do a video on that one later, but I'm excited about that too. Thank you, Half Price Books, for this. So those are some things that I was gifted and that I gifted myself, and I just wanted to share them with you. All right. I mean, isn't this cute? Come on now. This is so cute. There's my witch broom. Oh, all right. So let's talk about the new moon in Virgo on Saturday, 1:06 a.m. So let's just refresh, okay, because I have gotten some questions about the new moon and, the time period when you can work with the new moon. So I want to say that technically it's the dark moon, okay? The moon goes dark for about 3 days, okay? When the sun isn't it's not in the direct reflection of the sun's light, and so we don't really get to see it, right? So that's what we refer to as the dark moon. Okay. So technically we're having the dark moon. Guess who was born on a dark moon? Yes, ma'am, sir, ladies, gentlemen, everybody, uh, everybody included, right? So yeah, so born on a dark moon. So the new moon is technically the little sliver of a moon that we see 2 or 3 days after the dark moon. Okay, but um, you know, what's been referred to as the new moon nowadays, okay, is technically the dark moon. Did I just confuse everybody? So anyhow, it is the new moon. We're going to refer to it as the new moon, but it's technically the dark moon, okay? Because it's not seen in the sky. The new moon technically is when we start to see that little sliver of, Diana's bow. Okay, that's what it's referred to. Okay, Diana the moon, and she's holding her bow. So Anyhow, let's just move on. Okay. So we are having this dark moon, new moon in Virgo. I want to show you the chart. I want to talk about what it means and maybe how you can use the energy during this time period. It would probably help if I put my glasses on. All right, so let's take a look. Here we go. Yes, and I'm sure there's probably a better program to use than Snippet, but hey, I am not a tech gal and I'm not going to stress myself out trying to figure out something else. So here we go. Here we have Virgo. Virgo is an earth sign. It is an earth sign. It's a mutable earth sign, so I can talk about that. But here is the new moon in Virgo. It is technically at 0 degrees and 23 minutes into Virgo. So it's a very fresh, really good, if that's lack of a better term, okay, powerful. Maybe that's what I'm looking for, powerful. Okay, I think at any alignment or any planet at like the 0 degrees is really super powerful because it's a brand new energy that we're going to be working with. Now, if you notice, we will be having here's the new moon, right? And it is going to be squaring Uranus in Gemini. Gemini is an air sign. It's also a mutable air sign, but because these elements don't get along, right? We have air and then we have earth. So these two planets don't get along. I want to talk about that because this is within a degree, literally. So here we have 23 minutes and here we have 1 degree, 23 minutes. So there's a lot of other stuff going on in the chart, but I wanted to focus on that first. And then, if we have time, I can dive into some other things. But for the most part, I do want to, let's take a look at what this moon can entail for you. Okay. No, we are not going outside right now. Where's Charlie? Find Charlie. Where's Charlie? Go get him. Sarah! I'm not Charlie. I'm mommy. What's wrong with you? Huh? Oh, I love you. I love you. Just thank you. Okay, so let's talk about I love this dude. Seriously. My Sandy passed away like over 10 years ago, right? My little greyhound. Well, she wasn't little, she was kind of big. And so my heart was finally ready to open up by force because Alex Sophia just brought him home for Christmas 2023. And so, yeah. Anyhow, all right. So I showed you the chart already. Let's talk about this. Okay. So let's talk about the new moon, the dark moon, new moon. I really hope I didn't confuse everybody with the dark moon, new moon essence that I was talking about. But basically, this energy, it lasts for about 3 days. Okay. So if you're wanting to work with this new moon energy, it doesn't have to be precisely on the minute. I mean, it can be, it's very powerful if you're doing, any sort of work, okay, to, initiate for that lunar month on the precise time, which would be 1:06 a.m., okay, on Saturday. And yeah, I'm not going to be up at 1 o'clock. Maybe I might cleaning my house, maybe. Anyhow, so yeah, so the energy lasts for about, 3 days. So you can use that energy of the dark moon, okay, slash new moon to initiate, okay, for that lunar month. And we're going to focus on what the theme of initiation for this month in Virgo could be. All right, so that's a new moon. Now let's talk about Virgo. All right, so Virgo again is an earth sign, okay? It likes structure. I have quite a few Virgos in my life, and they resonate a lot of the similar energy just with the Virgo part, okay, in their chart. But Virgo, it wants structure, okay? It's a very analytical, very structural oriented, process oriented energy, okay? It likes to look at the details. It likes to get into the minutia of things. So it's great for analytical work, great for data information, researching. All right. So anything of that nature, okay, is related to Virgo. Virgo is ruled by Mercury. So let's take a look at this mercurial energy. Okay. And let's see how Mercury is doing in the chart today. So we want to find Mercury. Mercury is finally out of Retrograde, I think it turned direct on the 13th. So it's been about 10 days or so. It should be out of its shadow period here by now, but Mercury is in Leo, and it is starting to pick up speed now that it has, turned direct. All right. So it's doing okay. It's sextiling Mars. So I'm going to give it a, yeah, I mean, I think, Mercury in Leo is very much oriented to the self. There's a lot of, awareness on the self. It's an awareness about how you show up in the world. So Mercury, I think, is doing pretty well. Okay. Now let's talk about this Virgo energy and how it can influence your moon. Okay, the new moon. So the moon in Virgo, all right. It has a little bit more of a difficult time. Okay. And I don't want to say it's always difficult. That's not the point I'm trying to make. But generally speaking, the moon, which is emotions and fluidity and water and, ease and flow. Okay. In Virgo, the earth of Virgo, the analytical part of Virgo, the detail-oriented part of Virgo can sometimes get really stuck in the weeds. All right. And what I mean by that is that it can start to really focus on all of the little details that are going well and that maybe are not going so well. So the moon, the emotional part in Virgo, can get stuck on focusing on those things that seem broken, that aren't working correctly, that could be done better. And so sometimes it can turn into like that self-critical energy, right? Critical to the outside world because it naturally sees what could be done better, and a lot of self-criticalness, a lot of internalization, right? So the Virgo energy is very much associated to the hermit, okay, and that sense of self-reflection, or at least that's the way I incorporate the two. That sense of self-reflection, right, going deep within, but sometimes starting to look at those things that maybe you're not very fond of yourself or the world, and that's great. It's useful for change, but sometimes, that Virgo energy can get stuck in how do I fix this? Okay. And sometimes there is an opportunity to fix this, and sometimes you just have to make a change as part of the fixing process. All right. So if you are feeling, backtrack, the moon also represents our body. So the moon in Virgo can be prone to more anxiety. Okay, it can be prone to more just, sometimes feeling like the vibes within you, maybe feeling more of a headache. I know, I'm sorry, Delanise, I didn't reach out yesterday. I know you were asking about migraines and I saw that come through and I apologized, but, hopefully with this new moon moving through, those symptoms will start to feel a little bit better. But so you could be experiencing headaches, you could be experiencing, again, nervous system issues, tummy issues, okay, intestinal issues, because Virgo does represent the abdomen. Okay, and we have our stomach and our intestines in there. I guess I am pretty sure that's where they are because the last time I saw an anatomy book, that's where I thought they were. So you might be feeling some of those, um, um, just unsettling, okay, feelings of discomfort. But on a higher vibration, okay, this Virgo energy, and I feel like a friend of mine, Sergio, right, a lot of Virgo energy that works within his aura, okay? Virgo can be a really natural healer, all right? It's focused on being of service to others, okay? It's focused on caring for others and providing, that sense of connection and how do I help heal others? But sometimes it can forget to focus on healing itself. Okay. So there's the sense of being very considerate, of being very attuned to others' needs and emotions, and kind of forgetting, about yourself. So make sure that that doesn't happen. All right. So let's talk about, I showed you in the chart that the moon is squaring Uranus. Now, Uranus and Gemini, we're going to focus on that because I think this is going to have a direct impact on how you may be experiencing the moon and maybe some of the symptoms that I just recently mentioned about tummy issues, nervous system issues, and so forth. Okay. So Uranus is the planet of freedom, liberation. It's the planet of sudden change. It's the planet that wants to rebel. All right. Now in Gemini, Gemini is an air sign. It's a movable air sign. And Gemini likes to be free. It likes to be, and it's social. It likes to engage. I honestly don't know how social status people work because I have such a difficult time with that. But it likes, obviously not Gemini energy, right? But where was I going with this? Oh, yes, yes. So this movement of this Uranus in Gemini, right? There's this tension between the moon and Virgo that wants structure, it wants stability, it wants consistency, and Uranus and Gemini that wants freedom, liberation, and just wanting to be able to move around as it wants. So now you have this tension between these two planets and these two elements, right? So this moon, this new moon, I think is going to encompass some of that tension, okay? And what does that mean, right? Well, look, earth signs, we have a hard time with change. Some of us more difficult than others, okay? Virgo, even though it's a mutable, like movable, okay, it's still earth, okay? And I refer to that Virgo energy like sand, right? So you can pick up some sand, right? And let it flow. And Virgo energy is going to focus on all those little bits and pieces of sand. But at the end of the day, it's still earth. Even though it's movable, it's still earth, right? So you add a little bit of water to that and you're going to make mud, and then the mud, hardens after the water goes away, and you're still going to have this dry, hard earth, right? So again, it's Virgo wants structure. It wants a system. It wants consistency. Okay. It wants a framework to work from. That's why it's overly analytical sometimes. And the moon can be overly analytical in Virgo, but here we have this Uranus putting tension on this, moon that needs to feel safe with all of this earth energy of feeling consistent and safe, and everything that I just mentioned right now. And it's putting pressure on it, so it's shaking things up. Okay, so you might feel unsettled. You might feel like there is, I swear I just saw a dog outside, but no, there wasn't a dog. I feel that was a massive ADHD moment, wasn't it? Yeah, sorry about that. Okay. I feel like the if anybody is born natally, okay, with Uranus, squaring the moon, like myself, squaring the sun, like myself, squaring Venus, like myself, but especially the sun and moon, there's going to be this natural tendency of wanting to have something consistent and then not being able to follow through. Okay. So it's like, you have no idea how many journals I have. Okay. I have tons of journals that I've started, planners that I've started. Okay. And 3 or 4 days later, I'm like, okay, I need something else, right? Okay, that's the kind of flow that Uranus and that moon have this dance when it's square. Okay, it's the wanting to feel safe and something that's consistent, but there's an external or internal pressure to be liberated from those systems. Okay, now what could those systems be, right? It could be your own belief system, it could be your mindset. Okay, it could be a spiritual system that you're following. Maybe it's processes at work. Okay, that's an external picture, right? I know that I have a client that wants to do some really creative stuff at work, but because of the systems that are in place, she's not able to do that, right? And so there's a lot of frustration internally for her going on right now with this moon squaring Uranus. Now, again, it could be an internal need to find change, okay, or to allow yourself to experience change, which might be very difficult because the moon in Virgo doesn't want change. It wants consistency. So again, this might be a time period where you're going to have to evaluate those feelings, okay? It might feel like erratic emotional feelings. It might feel like sudden frustration. It might feel like your nervous system is going out of whack, okay? It might feel something to that degree. And having Uranus square my sun, moon, and Venus, I want to apologize to everybody in my life, especially in my younger days when I was having a difficult time regulating my emotions. Okay, so there it is. I'm putting it out there because it is difficult to regulate your emotions. It can be difficult to regulate your emotions when you have that Uranus pressing against your moon, trying to really find that settling feeling, and Uranus saying, nah, girl, You don't want that. That's boring. Okay. I have my moon, sun, and Venus in Capricorn. It's an earth sign. It's the most structured earth sign. It's even more structured than Virgo. And so, yeah, I just want to apologize to everybody out there that, sometimes I lost and that's okay. All right. So moving on. What can you do with this energy? Okay. I think it's important to take a look at, again, like I said, those constructs, those, pillars of thought, belief, mindset. Okay. Anything external, maybe it's a relationship. Okay. Maybe it's, processes, maybe it's, a friend that, or a partner, or a colleague that, wants to keep things, as is, but there's this feeling inside of you that says, no, we really have to like move on. Okay, we need change in order to grow. And I think that's really the essence of what this moon is about. There has to be change in order to grow. And so I would encourage you to go and self-reflect, because Virgo is very much about reflecting and self-reflection, and really, focus on those areas of your life where you do need to make some changes. All right. This would be a great time, a great way to start the lunar month with this, idea of how can I be open to change, especially those of you that tend to be a little bit more like me and have a more difficult time with change. All right. Yeah, so that's what I would encourage you to do. Those of you that are the mutable signs, which are going to be Virgo, I can't think anymore because I started the wrong way. Virgo, Gemini, yes. Oh my gosh, what's the other one? Sagittarius and Pisces. Blah. Okay. You will probably be feeling this more. Okay. Especially Pisces energy. Okay. So Virgo, Pisces, and then Gemini, and what was the other one I just said? Was it Sagittarius? Okay. So take a look at your chart. If you don't have a chart, if you don't know how to read your chart, if you would like a consultation, hit me up. Okay. We can definitely do that. So that is the essence of this Virgo moon. I do feel that if you, just sit with yourself, okay, take a look where in your life you might need to make some changes. I have been doing that myself. Okay. Yes, my website is still not up. Okay. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Okay. But you can definitely reach out. You can find me at info at silvermooncounseling.org, and or here. And oh yes, I forgot some crystals that you can work with. Okay. Selenite is really good for this moon. I love selenite and the Virgo energy because it's a very soothing, it soothes the crunchiness of that self-criticism. So I would definitely be working with selenite. And then the other one that I would probably use is kyanite. Okay, kyanite also has more of that soothing energy. It's a little bit more rigid in its actual orientation, but I think those two are really great to work with tonight. So again, you can set your intentions for the lunar month. Take a look at where you need to make some changes. It might be force changed. It might be change that know needs to be made, but maybe you're afraid to do it. Sit down and take a look at, why am I afraid? What's causing me to, not make these changes, right? Or maybe you're really excited about making these changes and you don't know how to go about making those changes. This would be a really good time for you to, sit and take a look at those changes. All right, everyone. I think that's a theme for this video is change. Change is coming. Change is definitely coming. All right. That is it. I hope everyone has a great Virgo new moon, and we will see you next time. Thank you. Blessed be.